Hi, I'm Barry Smale.
Hi, I'm Tim Franklin. This is the Fully Alive Chats, the second one of our chats. And in this chat, we're going to talk to you about energy skills for health and happiness, answer one of our questions from our students, and talk to you about the classes and what it is that we do in terms of energy flow. So one of the things that comes up, Barry, is about the difference between form and energy flow, and why it is that we teach these things as two separate entities.
Yeah, well, I mean, generally we don't, do we actually? Generally, when we were teaching before lockdown, actually we would teach, the first level one was generating energy flow. And obviously that contains all the skills of energy flow and a bit of form. But it was really expedient, wasn't it? I mean, both of us are a bit busy even in lockdown, but we wanted to put some classes online so that people could get a taste of Qigong. And the two places that we found we could do it are on a Wednesday and a Friday morning, but we only had half an hour. So we had to find a way of getting enough skills across safely, but also trying to give people, the complete breadth of a whole Shaolin Cosmos Qigong practice. And the only way we could do it really was to teach, if you like, the fundamental energy skills on a Friday morning, and then teach them a bit of form on a Wednesday morning, which is what we're doing at the moment. Is that how you remember it?
Yeah, and I mean, as you say, we always used to teach it in terms of a whole program of Qigong. So we'd take somebody through like a 12-week program in skills of generating an energy flow. So they had all of those skills. So one to what we say a wuji stance, that stance that you do, which is in a relaxed uprighting. Two, entering a Qigong state of mind. Three, smiling from the heart. Four, you'll do some kind of form. And that helps you generate the energy flow. And then you would enjoy that energy flow. Five, and then six was coming to that stance at the end and the stillness six. And those six components, we could then spend some time going into those deeply so that people can get it. But we couldn't really work out what, first of all, would be the best way of doing that in terms of a free drop-in class. And it seems sensible to separate it in a way that you could teach somebody the form in a relaxed manner, and just in a relaxed manner has its own benefits, nice loose joints and blood flow. But we also wanted to teach them a way of getting an energy flow, or at least experience some kind of flow where you feel energy in the body, you feel relaxation, you feel that movement that we're used to when you teach the energy flow for health and happiness course. And it seemed though that just teaching the Qigong at the form level and relaxation also had some benefits. Surprising benefits. But then when people started just to do the energy flow part without the form, so they were getting some tremendous benefits just from energy flow. But then people wondered why. Well, why should we bother doing a Qigong form if we can already get energy flow from that Wuji Qigong state of mind?
Yeah, and of course, and it's true. I mean, I practiced, the way I fell into it was just standing on the edge of the Sedona Desert, just standing, at the end of a sort of little sort of meditation thing I used to do. And then I remember just standing, what I now realize is in Wuji, and what I now realize is entering a Qigong state of mind, and then starting to feel all this weird stuff start to happen. I used to look down at my legs because I thought there were ants crawling up my legs, Or I used to think, what's that? There's some water pouring down my arm. I would kind of look around. And I remember I used to stand there and giggle, really, practicing that. I remember just for a whole year. And I got tremendous benefits out of that. but then you're right. We had a question from somebody saying, well, you know, I really get Wuji, you know, when I do the Friday morning class and then I go away and practice Wuji stance, I really get that now. And then I come to the Wednesday class and you were teaching lifting the sky. And I'm sure you've said something, but I think she was saying, I now do lifting the sky at the end of the practice, but I can't really make sense of why I'm doing that, which was a good question, really. I mean, I think we covered it in those two classes, but I mean, do you want to answer a question, I guess, if she's listening, or for anybody else?
Yeah, because if somebody wondered why you're going to do the Qigong forms, there's a lot of Qigong forms that you can learn, and normally when somebody comes along, they learn some of the patterns from the 18 Lohan hands, because they were the patterns that came out of the Shaolin Temple, that Lama taught. And lifting the sky was the first of those exercises, and also the very first exercise that our Sifu taught us. So just from that point of view, that's kind of like good enough reason. You weren't wondering why or what the actual exercises did. You'd think that's a good enough reason to practice Qigong. It's what the past masters did. That's what our Sifu taught us. So in the sort of tradition of the Chinese arts, you would do what your Sifu said and you would just practice it. But of course, there's the practical benefits that come with doing a Qigong exercise and lifting the sky. The more and more that I've done that exercise, the more and more I've come to appreciate why Sifu, our teacher, called it the multi-tool, you know, the platinum card of Qigong, because it opens up all the meridian pathways. It opens up all of the joints, releases the joints and the sinews and the muscles. That helps release tensions in the body. Now, Qi Flow does that as well, but when you move your body to open the joints, the fascia starts releasing the tension, the muscles start releasing the tension, blood flows better, and blood flows the Qi, and therefore you can have a greater Qi flow, or more powerful Qi flow, or what we call self-manifested Qi flow movement. The greater the movement and the energy flow, the more stuff you clear. Now, if you were a beginner and you hadn't got or developed skills in energy flow, which most people don't, when they first enter relaxation, their mind is busy thinking, what's going on here then? Oh, I'm feeling all this stuff in my body. Or like you, it's like, I'm feeling ants in my around, crawling around. And so they're like, oh, this is very nice, but I'm not really getting much movement. So you practice lifting the sky, not only to release the physical tensions, but also to generate more energy flow. And that gives you then another one of the skills in energy flow, which is that gentle breeze swaying willow, a gentle Qi flow, all the way up to the self-manifested Qi flow. Well. I think that's one of the things that often gets missed sometimes in people's practice, is that you do have Qigong form that gives you all of those physical benefits. And done relaxed, you get a lot of benefits, but then you need that skill in energy flow if you're going to use Qigong as an energy exercise rather than a physical relaxation exercise.
And it's kind of interesting, isn't it, teaching those half-an-hour classes. I mean, I think one of the interesting things that woman said in her question was, well, I'm doing lifting the sky because you told me to do it. And it was like, okay, well, at one level, that's being a good student, but I'm not really getting it. And I think that's what's been interesting for me is what people on those classes, they really are doing what we tell them, and they are really getting the benefits. But it is nice to have time with students to kind of unpack this a little bit, isn't it? I think one of the things that I love about the Friday morning classes is giving people that taste of Qigong. You know, that taste of Qigong where you can't describe it. You know, just like the taste of a banana. You can't describe the taste of a banana, to somebody. If they eat a banana, they know what it tastes like. What's lovely about the Friday classes is we could waste a million words on what chi flow is, what generating an energy flow is, but you get somebody for half an hour who follows what you tell them to do, and it's like, oh right, that's what an energy flow is. But then I think one of the things that we obviously haven't got across is that the form then goes into the middle of that Wuji practice. Yeah? So you get into that Qigong state of mind, smile from the heart, and then you've got an energy flow, and then you do the form without thinking about it. But the form then enhances what's already happening. Like you said, if you do the Wuji and come to stillness, if you do that little session, and then you do lifting the sky at the end, well, you'll be getting some energy skills there, and then you'll be getting the benefits of moving your arms about and lifting the sky. But the real secret is to be getting the energy flow, and then use lifting the sky to speed up the energy flow. So when you let go, you know, it's going to clear a lot more.
Yeah, and it's probably something for a talk at another stage, which is how you use energy flow within the forms. I mean, that'd be a nice discussion to have.
Yeah.
Because we still use forms, and 20 years on in doing Qigong, we're still using forms to generate an energy flow ourselves. Yeah. Not because we have to, because we can stand, like a lot of people stand up in Wuji, relax the mind, relax the body, smile from the heart, and then suddenly energy's flow. It's beautiful, energy's flow. You enjoy that energy flow. But this morning's practice, I was doing the form. So I was doing lifting the sky, carrying the moon, pushing mountains. Yeah. Very nice. And it felt beautiful to do. And each of those forms kind of gave me like a different flavor. And it's a bit like a meal, you know, it reminds me of like having a different meal of different things. You get these different flavors depending on how you've prepared it. Yeah. The ingredients that you use in, you get a different flavor as well. And you put it in a different order, things happen and taste. Yeah. And so the energy forms themselves are an expedient means to generate energy flow. Yeah. But they give you different benefits, and that's why it's worth doing that. But equally, I was thinking that, you know, from the way that we teach in terms of those stages of one through, that if you just taught somebody energy flow and you didn't teach them form or stillness, then that might not be so much fun for people. And it might be a bit more like how it was for our teacher the very first time he taught energy flow. It was like imagining that you had the instructions in a book. Yeah. But you read the first few instructions, but you didn't finish the book. Yeah. The bit that tells you how to slow down and come to stillness. So he generated a lot of energy flow, was moving around his room, then had to throw himself over a settee to stop. Yeah. Really uncomfortable. Yes. So to be comfortable in Qigong, have a practice that's safe. Yeah. It's then a good idea to go through these stages. Yeah. And do them, as you said, to unfold them, have some time to unfold them for people so that they get appreciation of what it feels like to come through all these steps and stages. Yeah. But those have practical benefits in everyday life as well, don't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, both of them. Somebody just doing the Friday class, well, we explain, don't we? We go into a fair bit of detail. What does it mean to go into a Qigong state of mind? It is, you know, the absence of doing things, but not getting in the way of stuff that's happening. And I say it glibly like that, and that can sound like not very much, but when you unpack it a little bit, that ability to do that in the middle of a day, what I find incredibly helpful, you know, when I'm working as a therapist, that ability to just be in a gentle Qigong state of mind while I'm working with people, for me, is just fantastic. When I'm mowing the lawn,
Mm.
being in a qigong state of mind, and even just at the physical level, being aware enough of my body, that whole interoceptive, proprioceptive ability that just gradually accumulates for people, to be aware of my body enough to know, where I'm tensing up unnecessarily, is incredibly helpful. I think it was interesting, with Janet coming back and not having seen her for 3 years.
Mm.
And she's just been effectively practicing level 1.
Mm.
I mean, it was just unbelievable, wasn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
life has completely changed. She's not the woman that she was when she first came to practice with us, which was lots of stress and anxiety and worry. And now she's finding, and this might sound quite trivial to people that already have this, but for her, this is the most amazing thing. It brought tears to her eyes. She now experiences life with joy and happiness. Yeah. And as she was telling us, I mean, literally tears were coming down her eyes because it moved her so much, because it's a huge thing. When you're, and I remember what it was like for me before I came into Qigong, not dealing with life really well.
Yeah.
Finding it a struggle, having stress, worry, and anxiety.
Yeah.
And then feeling how that stuff lifts when you do simple things like Wuji, smiling from the heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, both of us do therapy, and we use, say, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and you can change the way that you think.
Mm.
And that's fair enough, and that can be very useful. But actually, to know how to use your thinking and how to relate to the thoughts that think themselves, that skill that you develop in Qigong, where you don't have to put any effort into it. I mean, that's just what happens as a result of Qigong. That, for me, I think is far better than trying to just deal with one particular thought pattern, which can sometimes be helpful, but you end up doing more thinking then and less awareness.
Mm.
Which, I think for the Friday morning people, I think they're really starting to get that now. Short half-hour bursts is amazing.
It is incredible. And so if we were going to leave somebody with something today and they hadn't practiced Qigong before, we weren't there to guide them, maybe one of the things that would be worth them trying out is to stand upright like we would in the class, with their feet fairly close together and the feet parallel.
Yeah.
And gently close the eyes. Just let breathing be natural and see what happens.
Just
notice what happens when you don't try and do anything.
Yeah.
And do that for a couple of minutes, and then open your eyes and see what it's like.
That's what I did.
And it worked.
20 years ago, that's what I did, yeah. And of course, absolutely they can do that. And also they can just join in on a Friday morning class.
Yeah, absolutely.
9:30, it's not going to cost them anything. They never have to come back again. They can keep their camera off. We don't mind about things like that, yeah. And they can just listen to what we say. If they don't like it, they never have to come back again. And I think the other thing I'm going to say is about kind of teachers, because we talked earlier about people doing what we tell them. From a Qigong perspective, if you want to get the best out of Qigong, then it's best to do what your teacher tells you, yeah. But we always joke with people, but only about Qigong, yeah.
Yeah.
If we tell you to do something else, it's like completely ignore us, yeah, because we don't necessarily know any better than you about that stuff.
I agree with that. There's a good way to leave it. Okay, so if you want to come and see us or visit us or get more information, it's shaolin-training.com. That's shaolin-training.com, or email us at info@fullyalive.co. There's no UK or .com on the end. That's info@fullyalive.co. www.wed-and-fri.co. So thanks very much for joining us again. It's been wonderful. I've been Tim Franklin.
And I've been Barry Smale. Bye-bye.
Bye.